Hi guys, welcome back to another interesting tutorial on the channel. In today's video we'll be learning how to make a milkmaid top with a queen and neckline. This video is very detailed. You'll be learning how to cut and also how to sew this beautiful top. So if this looks like what you want to learn how to make, then please keep watching and let's get started. To begin, I'll rule out a straight line on my pattern paper. This line is going to serve as our shoulder line and also a guideline. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark 7 inches like so. That's my shoulder measurement, which is 14 divided by 27, and then I'll come down on that point by 1 inch, and then I'll be using 3 inches for my neck width. I'll mark that like so, and then I'll connect with a slope. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to place my tape on the end like so, and then mark my armhole measurement, which is 7, and then I'll also confirm my chest measurement on that point, and then I'll use my rule to connect with a straight line, and then I'll also go ahead to extend the chest line like so. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my bust point measurement, which is 10 inches, under bust, which is 13 inches, and then my waistline, which is 17 inches. I use 17 inches because that's the length of the top I want. Okay, so you can use 18 depending on your body size and how long you want your top to be. So then I'll go ahead to connect the points, and then I'll label chest line, bust points, under bust, and then top length. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I marked that on the bust points, on the under bust, and on the top length. And then on the top length, I'll go in and out of the line by half of an inch, and then I'll connect it back into the bust point like so. And then after that, I'll be going up from my under bust line by 1 inch. Okay, on the center front, go up on your under bust line by 1 inch, and then connect it back into the under bust like so. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust measurement is 32 divided by 4 is 8. I marked that down on the chest line, and then I divided what I have on my armhole line by 2. I got 3.5, and then I went in by half of an inch on the 3.5 points, and then I used my curved rule to connect my armhole curve. So after that, I'll just go ahead to go in on that armhole line by half of an inch like so, and then I'll just connect with a curve. Okay, you can use your curved rule to do this, you can use your free hand to do this, but make sure you get your curve right. And then on the armhole line again, I went in by 1 inch to create my queen and neckline. As you can see, I just connected that to the 3 inches that we went in by on the neckline initially. Okay, I just connected it to my neck width. Then the next thing I did was to go up on the chest line by half of an inch and then connect with a slight curve like so. So you can go higher if you want. If you don't want yours too revealing, you can decide to go higher a bit, but I used ½ inch and I'm okay with that. And then I used 1.5 inches for my seam allowance. I'm going to mark my waist measurement on the top length divided by 4, and then I'll also add my 1.5 inch seam allowance. Guys, please also add the darts. Okay, the darts of half inch that we took on the waistline is going to make 1 inch. So when you divide your waist by 4, you make sure you add your darts and then your seam allowance. I actually skipped that, so I had to do it again. I had to add my 1 inch darts that I had taken initially. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut this piece out. So just watch carefully to see how I cut this. So you can go ahead to watch over and over again. If you don't understand any step, you can go ahead to watch the step over and over again. So guys, this is how it looks after cutting out. The next thing we are going to do is to work on our cups. So I'm just going to place my tape like so and then mark 1 inch apart, as you can see, and then I'll use my rule to connect a straight line from the top to the bottom like so. And then after that, I'll just go ahead to label my parts so it doesn't get mixed up. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. Then after that, I'll cut this out first. After cutting the parts out, I'll go ahead to introduce a fresh pattern paper to make our cups. That's the cups we'll be using. So for this fresh pattern paper, I'll just go ahead to rule out a straight line on it like so. Just rule out a straight line, and then I'll be placing my pieces like so, making sure that the line on the piece is matching the line that I had drawn on the second pattern paper. Okay, can you see the line on the piece is matching the line on the pattern paper? So I'll just go ahead to connect this with my marker like so, and then I'll just cut it out. So for the spacing, I used about 1.5 inch to space each pieces. So you can go ahead to space by 1 inch. It depends on how full you want your cups to be. Okay, you can even use 2 inches, but I used 1.5 inch to space mine. So I just went ahead to cut exactly what I had here like so, and then after that I'm just going to set that aside, and then we're going to work with the back. So guys, this is the back pattern, and for the back I just went ahead to mark 1.5 inches for my zip allowance, and then I also ruled a straight line to serve as my guideline. I marked my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7, and then I came down by 1 inch on that point as well. I marked 3 inches for my neck width and then connected with a slope, came down from the line by 7 inches again, that's my armhole line, and then I also extended my chest line like so. For my back neck depth, I used 2 inches and then connected it like so. And then after that, I just went ahead to mark my top length, which is 17 inches, and then I connected with a straight line. I extended my zip allowance line to meet the point, and then I extended my chest line as well. So I'm just going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Just watch where I place the tape. Okay, I placed it on the zip allowance line like so, and then I went ahead to connect with a straight line. I went in and out of the dart legs by half an inch. I came down from the chest line by 1 inch and then connected my dart like so. So guys, after that I just go ahead to divide my bust measurement by 4. Use 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches. I marked it down. Sorry, I lost some clip. I'm just going to explain how I got here. So after marking my bust measurement divided by 4, I just connected my curve like so with my curved rule. I added 1.5 inch seam allowance on that point, and then on the waistline I marked my waist measurement divided by 4, and then I added 1 inch for the dart that I had already taken, and then I added 1.5 inch allowance as well. Then I went up on the zip allowance line by 1 inch and then connected to the waistline as well. That is because the back half length is usually shorter than the front half length. So I went ahead to cut this like so, and then for the zip allowance side, I also went in by about half of an inch and slanted it into the zip allowance as well. So if you've been following my tutorials, you would know how to achieve this back pattern by now. Okay, so guys, this is the front pattern. We have the center front and the side front. I'll just go ahead to use my tape to hold it down because we'll be cutting this as a one piece on our fabric. Okay, so I'll just go ahead to use my tape and then hold this down. So guys, that is all for the pattern drafting. I'm just taking out my pieces so you can see how the cup looks. Okay, so you can just go ahead to make a knot so you will know the center front of the cup. And then this is our yoke, okay, for the Queen Anne neckline. The next thing to do is to cut on fabric, and I've gone ahead to cut my cup on fabric. I'll just go ahead to notch that point so I'll know the center front. You'll be needing 4 pieces of this, and also you'll be needing to add half an inch round this piece like so for sewing allowance. And then the next thing is to cut the lower part of the front. I added half inch on the cup side, added half inch on the top and half inch on the bottom, and this is cut on fold as you can see. So if I open this up, you see how it looks. So this is how it looks because I cut it on fold. Okay, we'll be needing one piece of that. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut my queen and yoke. Okay, and as you can see, this is how it looks. I added half inch round, I cut 4 pieces of that, and then I cut 2 long strips of fabric measuring about 23 inches by 1.5 inch. So guys, this is how it looks for the front. So the next thing we are going to do is to cut the back, and I have gone ahead to cut the back. I added half inch on the neckline, half inch on the shoulder, half inch on the lower part and half inch on the armhole. I then went ahead to notch my zip allowance point and my dart point as well. So guys, after that I went ahead to cut a facing for my back piece. As you can see, you can go ahead to rewatch any step you don't understand. I had to speed up this video so it doesn't become too long. So guys, that's all for the back piece. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut the sleeves, and I use freehand to cut my sleeves because I just want a puffy sleeve. You can create any sleeve of your choice, okay? And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I love you guys. So I'll just go ahead to notch the midpoint of my sleeve like so, and then we are going to start joining our pieces. So guys, this is the long piece of stripes I had cut. I made it 1 inch wide instead of the 1.5 inch that I had already cut out because I realized that one was too wide. So just going to fold it in like so and then sew it down carefully. And then this is the second part. Just fold it in on the top part by half an inch, and then you fold in again like so and then sew down. After that, I'll just go ahead to join my yoke, and for the yoke I'll be joining 2 pieces together like so, right sides facing each other, and then I'll also go ahead to join the second 2 pieces like so. Remember I said we are going to cut 4 pieces of the yoke. So guys, after joining, I'll just go ahead to notch it like so that it relaxes on the other side, and then I'll turn it over like so and then sew it down like so. Okay, and then I'll repeat the same on the other side as well. I'll go ahead to notch it, and then I'll open it up and then sew the down part as well like so. After that, I'll just go ahead to give this a good press and then come show you guys how it looks. So guys, this is how it looks after pressing. We are just going to set this aside and work on our cups. So for the cups, I'm just going to place my cups like so. Remember I said we should cut 4 pieces of the cups, right? So this is one piece and this is the side of the cup. I just placed that, and then I placed my yoke on it on the side like so as well, and then use another piece of the cup to cover it up like so, right sides facing each other. I'll just go ahead and sew by half of an inch. So just watch carefully to see how I am going to sew this part, okay? So guys, after sewing to the end like so, I'll just go ahead to trim off the excess. I have an excess on the cup. I'll just go ahead to trim that out like so, and then I'm going to sew again from the top part. I'll come down by about half of an inch. That's to enable the long strips that we have made pass through that part, okay? So I came down by half of an inch before sewing again to the other end, and then I'll just go ahead to cut that part, notch my corners so it relaxes on the other side, and then I'll just flip this over so you guys can see how it looks. So guys, after flipping over, I also went ahead to sew down again. I came down by 1/2 inch from the top part, and then I'm just going to sew this to the end. This is to create a channel for our ropes to pass through. Okay, so after that I'll be repeating the same step on the other cup as well, so you can just watch carefully so you can understand. In case you didn't get the first one I did, just watch carefully to see how I'll do this second cup. So guys, after that the next thing to do is to pass our ropes through the channel. I used my safety pin to hold my rope, and then I just went ahead to pass it through the 1/2 inch channel that we had created on the cup. And then when I get to the edge, I'll just take out my pin, and then I'll secure the side with a stitch so it doesn't go back inside. Okay, then after that I'll also repeat the same step on the second cup as well. I will use my safety pin to pass it through the channel to the other end, and then I'll also sew it down so it doesn't fall back inside as well. Okay, so guys, after that I'll just go ahead to run a loose stitch on the lower part of my cup like so. As you can see, I will repeat the same step on both sides, and then after that I'll just go ahead and gather that part. So just watch carefully to see how I am going to do this. I'm already gathering this one, as you can see. I repeat the same step on the other as well. So guys, this is how it looks after I was done. So after gathering the cups, the next thing I'm going to do now is to attach the cups to the lower part of the front piece. So just watch carefully how I'm going to do this. I'll just place it like so from that part, and then I'm just going to sew it. I'll make sure that each of the cups will stop at the middle of this lower part front piece. Okay, so just sew it to the middle, and when I get to the middle I'm just going to stop, and then I will take the other cup as well and then sew it from the middle to the other side. So guys, this is how it looks after attaching the cups to the lower part of the front piece. You can see how beautiful this looks. So the next thing we're going to do now is to work on our back piece. So I'm just going to go ahead to sew the lower part of my facing like so. So if you have an overlocking machine, you can just go ahead to weave that part, but for me I just went ahead to sew it like so. And then after that I'll just go ahead to introduce my back piece, and then I'm just going to place it on the back piece, and then I will join it together. So just watch carefully to see how I'll join this. Remember that we had a notch for our zipper allowance. I'll be stopping on that point like so, and then I'll repeat the same step on the second back piece as well. I'm just going to be joining the facing and then stopping on that point that we had notched earlier. Okay, so just sew like so. The reason why we are leaving that place open is because our zip is going to pass through that part. So after that, just go ahead to notch your curved edge, and then I'll also go ahead to take my dart. So I'll just go ahead to bring my pattern paper and then measure what I have there. Remember we had already notched at that point, so just measure that. I had 7.5 inches, so I'll be taking 7.5 inches dart like so, and then I'll just sew it, and then I'll repeat the same step on the other side of the back piece as well. I'll take 7.5 inch dart, and then I'll also sew it down. Okay, so after sewing it, the next thing we are going to do now is to join the shoulder of the front piece and the shoulder of the back piece. So please watch carefully to see how I am going to do this. Okay, so first things first, I went ahead to hold down the shoulder line of the back piece, and then I'll just go ahead to place the front piece like so on it, and then I'm just going to open the front piece up and one piece of the front shoulder, and then I'm just going to turn it over like so, and then I'm just going to sew down by about half of an inch. So like I said, you can go ahead to rewatch any step that you don't understand. Just go ahead to rewatch it. Okay, so after holding it down like so, I'll just go ahead to notch that part like that, and then I'm just going to flip it over. Okay, so after doing that, you can see how neat and beautiful this turned out. I'll repeat the same step on the second side as well. So if you did not get the first one, please just watch carefully to understand this. So I'll also go ahead to hold down the back facing to the back shoulder like so, and then after that I'll just bring my front piece as well, and then I'm just going to place it like so, and then I'll open one part of the front yoke like so, and then I'll turn it over as you can see, and then I'm just going to sew on it again by about half of an inch. I'll sew to the other end, notch, and then open up and show you guys how it looks. So guys, that's all for joining the shoulder. As you can see how beautiful it turned out. The next thing I'm going to do now is to join the side pieces together. Remember that we left 1.5 inch sewing allowance. I'll just go ahead to join using my 1.5 inch sewing allowance that I had left. So I'll just join that to the lower part like so, and then I'll repeat the same step on the other side as well. I'll go ahead to join it by 1.5 inches as well down to the top length, as you can see. So guys, after that I'll be using my chalk to mark my zip allowance point. As you can see, remember that we notched that. I just mark it on the right side to serve as a guide while fixing my zipper, and then I'll be using my bias tape to turn the lower part of this top. You can go ahead to hem yours, but I decided to use a bias tape to turn mine. Okay, so just watch carefully to see how I am going to do this. So guys, that is how it looks after I was done. I'll just go ahead to connect my zip allowance line like so. Remember, I have a notch on the top part and on the lower part that served as a guide. On the lower part, I just went in by half an inch from that notched part, and then I connected to the top part that I notched. Then I'm just going to fix my zipper like so. After fixing this side, I'll just go ahead to fix the other side as well. Please don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and if you have questions, please drop your questions in the comments. So after sewing this part, I'll just go ahead to sew the other part of the zipper as well, making sure that the top part matches each other. Then carefully sew down to the end as well. So guys, after that, I'll just go ahead to cut the excess on my zip like so. But before you cut the excess, make sure you zip down so you don't cut off your zip. Then after that, I'll just flip my facing like so and then sew it. So please just watch carefully to see how I sew this, okay? And then I'm just going to sew down like so. And then I will repeat the same step on the other side as well. Just go ahead to trim off all the excess and then flip it over. You can see how this turned out. I'll just go ahead to repeat the same step on the other side as well. So just watch carefully in case you did not understand the first, so you would understand the second one. And like I said, you can go over and over again to watch the video so you can understand better. And if you still don't, then please you can drop any questions in the comments. So guys, after that, I'll just go ahead to trim off the excess, and then I'll also flip this over so you can see how this looks, okay? You can see how beautiful this looks. The next thing we are going to do now is to work on our sleeves. So guys, for the sleeves, I'll be using an elastic for the lower part. So I'm just going to fold in the lower part like so by about half of an inch or a quarter inch, and then I'm just going to sew that to the other end. And then I'll do the same for the second sleeve as well. I'll just fold it in and then I'm just going to sew it down to the other end. For my elastic, I'll be using the half-inch elastic because of what I want to create. I'll be using this half-inch elastic, and I'll just go ahead to sew it down like so. Just hold it down with a stitch, and then I'm just going to turn it like so. You can also create a channel and then pass your half-inch elastic through the channel, okay? But for me, I just decided to hold down the elastic on one part while I create the channel with the elastic through it like so. So when I get to the end, I'm just going to pull. I'll be pulling this to my round arm measurement. My round arm measurement is 10 inches. So after sewing the elastic like so, I'll just go ahead to pull it to that 10 inches, okay? And then after pulling to the 10 inches, I'll cut off the excess elastic, and then I'll go ahead to join the sleeve with half of an inch, okay? So after joining the sleeve with half of an inch, I'll just go ahead to attach the sleeve to the top. So guys, I just went ahead to secure my elastic on the other end. So now I'll just go ahead to sew with half of an inch like so. And then after that, like I said, I'll just go ahead to attach the sleeve to the top. So this is the top. I'll be starting on the armhole line like so. I will attach the sleeve from this side, and then I will stop halfway to the top, and then I flip over and then attach from the other side as well, and then stop halfway to the top. That's because I want to create some kind of pleats on the upper part of the shoulder, because I want the sleeve to be puffy. So I'll just go ahead to fix on the other side as well, like so. So guys, after that I'll just go ahead to create my pleats on the sleeve. I'm just going to be doing that with the excess on the sleeve. I'll do that on the top part. I'll just pleat, pleat and sew, pleat, pleat and sew, and then I'll repeat the same step on the other sleeve as well. Please don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and also please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. I really love you guys. If you have any questions, please don't forget to drop your questions in the comments. So guys, I'm done with fixing the sleeve, and this is how it looks. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to overlock your raw edges, and this is the final result of the beautiful top. Please do well to check my other videos. See you in my next one. Bye.